Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and I'm an ultramarathon runner. Today I am going to talk about the Arc of Attrition 100 miler, which is by UTMB and it was my first UTMB series. But before we get started, please make sure you like and subscribe below because it really does help me out. So I took no content on the race because I did not take my phone out of my bag once. I'm gonna go through a little race recap. It was a DNF. However, I'm so glad my dad bought me a hoodie because I didn't get a finisher's t-shirt. It was a big deal for me, and if I still sound a little bit breathless, it's because I am. So this race, if you don't know, it runs from Cornish to Porthtowan along the Cornish coastal path, and it was on the 23rd of January 2026 during Storm Ingrid. Now, for me, this was my first competitive race of the season. It was really probably my first proper competitive race ever, in my opinion, of what really mattered to me. I was only planning on racing a couple of times this year because it is obviously so demanding on your body. I had really strong goals coming into this race, really strong performance goals, and I had time targets that I wanted. I'm not going to lie, I was aiming for a podium. I wanted to get my UTMB qualifier. Because I really did think I was capable of that. I had put pressure on myself with this race, but I was also super excited about it to just see what I could do in a competitive field. Like, I had never ran in a super competitive field before in this caliber of race, and I was going into it with a really solid plan. I'd had obviously probably a 7-month training block coming off a stress fracture after the North Coast 500, that this has been my sole focus. Possibly there was a lot of other life stresses that were going on around, so you always have to think they add to the mental load, but I felt really strong going into this race. And I think the strange thing that I'm coming to terms with this DNF is, apart from the fact that I'm still not breathing 100%, I still feel really strong, and I've not finished the race feeling how I thought I would. Anyway, so the race morning obviously arrived. Middle of Storm Ingrid, which to be fair, for me, is fine. I'm not worried about the weather because you can't control it. You've just got to turn up, you've got to do it. And that was very much my outlook on it. And I know I've gone through really tough weather conditions before. So it's something I know I can grind out. I felt at the start line I was pretty calm, pretty chilled. I don't know if you check my heart rate, it'd be different, I don't know. But apart from the toilet queue, it was pretty good. I just felt like I was ready to really run my own race, at least till 50 miles. Like I said, I don't want to know where I am till 50 miles, because in placing, because that for me was when my race will start. Like, I will run my own race to start with so I don't burn out, and then I will really race it. The race started really well for me. I felt strong, I felt controlled, I had settled. I was aware it was really muddy and boggy, but there was also, for me, just a complete level of acceptance that this is what it is. You cannot change the weather that we've had, the weather that we've got, or what's underfoot, and just a real sense of gratitude for me of being where I am, being in the opportunity that I am. I remember looking up and at one point and seeing a rainbow. Like, I made sure, even during the night, I made myself look up. I was like, you have to look up. Don't just look down the whole time. Only look up when it's safe, because some of the points, if I was to look up, I would fall over. But it was like, look up at points. Whether it was just to look into darkness, or whether it was to see a red tail light, or whether it was that time to see the rainbow. And every time I felt my head kind of going a little bit sideways, that's when I would look up. Let's look up. So yeah, everything went super well for me. My fuel was going amazing. I was doing exactly my fueling strategy I had planned. I was having no stomach issues. Woohoo! And whenever I did kind of feel tempted to kind of slot into somebody else's pace, I deliberately asked myself the question of, who am I speeding up for? And if the answer was not my race, then I'm not going to do it. I'm going to run my race. I'm going to run my pace that I know I'm okay at. And I did adapt my pacing strategy for the weather. I was behind my pacing strategy, but I think everybody was, to be fair. Especially going into the night, I was a bit more cautious just because I haven't ran on trail through night before properly. I was just a bit like, I'd rather run a little bit slower, like a couple seconds slower per kilometre, than to have a fall, and then be out of the race. I was feeling good. I knew I was sitting higher up in the female standings, but I didn't really know where, and I was comfortable with that. I knew there was a few females around me at points. I was just telling myself, like, I do belong here, it's fine. This is really cool. How cool is this? I'm running in a big race. I wasn't feeling the sense of overwhelm that I expected to. And then things kind of changed roughly 65-ish kilometers and I did notice my breathing. But it's something I've been working on. I think what surprised me most was like I didn't feel panicked by it. I was like, okay, we know how to deal with this, it's fine. I just focused on staying really steady and calming my breathing and regulating it, and moving forward I didn't feel the panic that I expected myself to feel if I was having a breathing problem. And yeah, despite kind of adjusting myself a little bit, and it just became really clear to me that I was in no fit state to keep going, really. And that's really hard because my body was fine and my mind was actually okay. And I think that's why I actually made such a rational decision, because my mind was okay. I think if you start to lose your mind a little bit, I would have been much less rational about the whole process, but I was very much like, I can't breathe. This is not good. Because when I got down to a bit, there was these gentlemen in the van and I said, can I sit in your van for a little bit? Because I thought, I wonder if I just got out of the wind and the rain, if I just regulate myself. But when it became really clear to me that that was not the case, it was not anxiety, it was not just panic, it was my asthma more than anything else. I just thought I couldn't get a full exhale, I was really struggling. It just became to me really obvious what the decision was, and I think I was worried that I would put other runners in danger if I continued, because I know my signs, and I was like, I do not want to put other runners in danger or event staff in danger if I carry on like this. And, Land's End is pretty brutal. It's a brutal weather conditioned place, not in a storm, never mind in a storm. I was like, I don't want to do this to people, I don't want to do this to myself, I don't want to do this to family. So that's when, I made the decision to get driven to Land's End and DNF, essentially. Which is rubbish, because I was having a really good day out. And this is the fact that this is the part that I find hard to sit within myself. I was having a good time, chatting to people, made some friends. It was just, and for me that's what ultra's about a lot of the time as well. It's about that community and connection and speaking to people that I would never obviously speak to in my daily life, because you never get the opportunity to. And also testing my body, seeing where I'm at. Coming off the North Coast 500, obviously I was pretty broken, and well, my leg was not great, but the rest of me again was fine. And I think for me, this is what I'm struggling to sit with, was again, I didn't get the feeling of the end result that I wanted, not even just the finish line or the placing or the times. It was I didn't empty the tank. And I know I keep saying this, I'm like, it was fine, but I couldn't breathe. That bit was empty, but I didn't run myself into the ground, which is what I'd really hoped. That sounds horrendous, but I know ultra runners will get me. That's what I hope for. I hope to be absolutely broken by the end of it. I wanted to leave everything on that course, and I did, because on the Saturday I decided to go a walk, and where we were staying in Cornwall was everything was on a hill. I tried to go up some steps and I had to stop because my chest was so tight, it was so bad. And even now I'm still breathless and still getting a tight chest over a week later. But it just, again, wasn't what I expected to finish my race. And that's something I'm learning with ultra running. It's never what you expect. And that's exciting too. So yeah, of course I was super disappointed. But I've learned, I'm learning, I will always learn, I will always be a student of the sport. It's now to look forward, to think what I can do to make sure this doesn't happen again, or do my best to prevent it. And kind of almost show that ultra running isn't always about being crazy or just toughing things out. We all have different stories, we all have different meanings behind our runs, our training, or whatever we're doing. And for me, this season is far from over. I know what's next. I know what I'm working towards. Nothing changes, it's just the race changes. Different training because it's a different race. But the goals and the desired outcomes are exactly the same. I will keep building. I'm so grateful for the support I get from people online, from my coaches and people I work with, from my parents, from my friends and family. And yeah, now I'm moving to France to see what I can do, I guess, and to try a different way of life, which I am slightly stressed about, but excited about as well. For me, it's meeting myself where I'm at now and trying a different way of life. However, as always, trust the process, don't fear the outcome. And might not see the Arc next year, depending on where I'm living, but I'll be back. I will be back at the Arc 100, and I hope you will be too, so I'll see you in the next one.